It's that time. Time to go in the beehive. Ignition, blast off, let's go. Watch your step now. Hey, we're in the danger zone. Once you pass this point, there is no return. Make sure you have your mind made up. All right, so what are we going to be doing today in the bee yard? Some experiment with this hive. We're experimenting with this hive. I took the queen out, hoping that we can turn some of those nurse bees into field bees and get the bees to bring in more nectar, which means more honey. So I took the queen bee out of here and we put her in the back in the nuke box, hoping that these girls here would make a queen cell and keep the queen's genetics going in this hive. But little do you know, we'll be in for a big surprise. She's all the way at the back. Right there in that white nucleus box. So let's get this party started. I'm glad y'all could join me today. We'll go in here and see how the nectar flow is going. Everything is starting to grow back. So that's my sign when the nectar flow is coming. Let's get started. A few little puffs under the cover before we lift her off. Okay, let's see what we got under here. Get my sensor off. That keeps the humidity. And the temperature in the hive, I can see it from in the control center. So I can tell when they're overheating and when it's too cold in the hive. Looks good so far from what I see. I can see that nice white wax sticking out in the aisles. So let's take a look and see what the bees have been doing. If this experiment is going well, let me just smoke them off of here a bit. I don't really need to smoke this hive because they're nice and gentle, as you can see. Okay, let me get my hive tool, my frame grabber actually. Let's see what we got. That's the first one coming out, the honey super. Let's see what the girls have been doing since I took the queen out. All right, they got this one capped halfway. Just a little piece down at the bottom there. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, wow. Wow. It looks like there's larvae down in there. What's going on? I took that queen out and she's in the back in the nuke box, but yet I see it looks like drone larvae down in that spot. Unbelievable. Okay, well, remember I said bees will be bees, so I don't know if you can see this, but there's some young larvae down in those cells. It looks like drone larvae because the cells are a little bit large. They don't look like worker bee larvae. So that means that there were two queens in here then, because I know I took that queen out. And now I see larvae. I even took the queen excluder off because I said there was no queen, and she came up and laid at the bottom of the frames. Right here in this section, there's larvae right there. Well, we have to dig in a little further in this experiment because I'm not sure why larvae is in there. There should not be any larvae. However, I do remember a couple of weeks back seeing a super seizure cell in that brood box. So I'm wondering if they superseded her and we had a virgin queen in there along with the mother queen. And it looks like she just got mated and started laying. All right, let me investigate this a little further. Let's see if there's more brood in the honey super. That means I can't take the honey until the bees hatch out and they fill those cells. But anyway, I told you this was an experiment, so here we go. Experiment gone wild. Okay, now this one's full of nectar all the way through. All of that there is nectar uncapped. No brood in that section. Well, the other side looks like some empty spaces there. I'm not sure if the brood just hatched out and there's empty spaces, or they move honey out for the queen to lay right there in that section. I'm not sure. I'm looking at yellow foundation. Well, let's see. I'm going to look at one more frame. See if there's any brood in here. I like to take a look in the middle, kind of give you an idea of what's going down in the box. Okay, so they got this one half cap also. So I don't know if my experiment is working because I see larvae in the honey super, which definitely means there's a queen in there. So this one has some empty cells at the bottom. It's like nectar is in it, but there's some empty cells. Well, I'm glad I decided to do an inspection because we have to figure this out. And that's what good beekeepers do. They figure out problems. They fix them. They don't run away and get scared and go on YouTube and start posting, "What is this? I see larvae in my honey super. What do I do?" Nope, you get in there and you figure it out. All right, so let's take a look at this last one here on the end, and let's see if they have this box filled with nectar. Yep, this one actually has nectar in it also. So they're doing a good job. They have the whole honey super filled with nectar. It's not all cap, and there seems to be some drone brood in there. We'll have to figure that out. I'm going to have to go down in the brood nest and see if I find a queen. All right, this is so heavy. Yep, they're curing this nectar here. Should have some honey out of that pretty soon. We'll see. Maybe by the middle of May. That's just my guess. The middle to the end of May. We should be getting that honey super off of there with honey in it. Because the flow is going. All right, well, we got to get to work here. We got to find a queen because I see brood up in the honey super because I took the queen excluder off because I took the original queen out of there to save her genetics. Oh, look at this. They haven't even drawn this out. I may have to put that in the middle, but we'll see. That was a brand new frame I put in the last time I did an inspection to make sure that the brood chamber don't become congested and they get in the urge to swarm. All right, so let's go. We're going to try to find this virgin queen, and if I find her, I'm going to mark her. And I didn't even plan for this, so now I'm looking for a virgin queen. I actually just wanted to look in the honey supers and make sure they were filling them with nectar, and now I'm here looking for a queen, which will be her daughter. I'm still dumbfounded that, I heard people say two queens in a box, and now I've seen it for myself. The mother and the daughter actually existed together. I guess the daughter wasn't mated yet, so the mother was still laying eggs. So I got out here just in time to move mama out of there and put her in that nuke box. Because I'm sure once the daughter got mated, the bees were going to expel her out of the hive. So at least I can still keep her. If she's laying slow, I can still take her eggs and do some grafting and make some nice, gentle queens. Yeah, there's a bee doing the waggle dance for those that haven't seen the waggle dance. I guess he's telling all the bees where the good nectar is. 2 clicks north of the sun, 400 feet that away. Just fly around till you see the tree. I had things to do today. Now I'm out here looking for a virgin. Well, a mated queen, I should say. Well, wow, look at this. This has a lot of nurse bees on it. So I am going to say they are eggs on this frame. Look at the amount of nurse bees on here. There is some bees being hatched, and it seems like the queen are refilling these cells as the bees hatch out. So there is a queen in here. I bet you it's the daughter, the supersedure queen. Because I remember seeing the queen cell, but I've always seen super Caesar cells in this hive, but they were always empty. And every time I go in there, I saw the queen because I had a mark with a green dot. So I guess this time they actually created a super Caesar because that queen, she did her job. I mean, she was a good laying queen for at least 2 years. And that's the lifespan that you should keep your queen. I know they say the queen will make it for 4 or 5 years, but at some point she's going to run out of sperm. So a good 2 years is what you usually get out of a good queen, and then you should replace them. And that's what I do. You don't have to do that, and I'm not telling you that that's law and that's the way you have to do it. But if you talk to the average beekeeper or master beekeeper, they'll tell you 2 years is a good time span for a queen if you want to keep your population numerous. You don't want to wait till the queen start laying a lot of drone brood before you replace her. Well, actually, the bees will replace her themselves. They'll know when she's slowing down. They know when anything is wrong with the queen. As soon as you see a super Caesar cell in there, that means there's something going on with the queen. So that's why I never break them down, because the bees know. I'm just the beekeeper. I can't decide for the bees and say, hey, you don't need to put a super Caesar. I love that queen. She's still doing good. No, I let the bees control that. I'll be stepping out of my place if I do that. So whatever the bees say, that's what go. If they say we need a new queen, then hey, give them a new queen. All right, let's see if we find Mama. There she is. We got Mama. Let me grab that queen cage here so I can get her underneath, and we're going to mark her. Got to keep my eye on her. She'll do a runner. Got her right there. All right. We found the queen, the super Caesar queen. I knew there was a queen in there. I thought I was going crazy. Take a look. There she is. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because my camera is not the greatest. Sometimes when you get close, it goes blurry. But the queen is underneath. So let me get my white marker and my queen holder, and we are going to mark a queen with a white dot for 2026. Well, there goes my experiment. So I guess I'll have to try it next year. When the flow comes back, just take the queen out and see if I can get the bees to bring in more nectar than baby bees. Try to turn some of those nurse bees into field bees. All right, let me get the white down to the tip of the pen here. Make sure we don't drown her with the ink. And we are going to get her marked. Wow, unbelievable. 2 queens in a hive. I get to experience it firsthand this time. So let me see if I can scoop her up and get her in this little holder. Got her in there, okay. All right, so I'm going to put all of these back here so I don't risk squashing the queen or her going between the frames and getting rolled. Oops, let me take this out. I forgot that queen cage fell down inside of the box. So I got to take that out. So let's put this over here. And let me get that out. Wow, yep, that fell in there. I was wondering why the frame wouldn't go down anymore. And I looked down there and saw it sitting at the bottom. All right, let's get this one back in. And then we have one more to get in there, and then I'll put her on the top and release her back down into the hive. You know, I took her mother out just in time. Because I don't want to lose her genetics. Her mom was a good laying queen. Let me tell you, I loved her. I mean, my hives never lacked bees. She had this brood box laid with bees from frame to frame, from one end to the other. The only thing they had in there was larvae and food, pollen, and bee bread. All of the honey was stored up at the top in the supers. Because she kept it full. It was always full with eggs, cat brood getting ready to hatch out. Every time I opened it, I was like, wow, that hive was loaded. So her genetics should be good. Hopefully she made it with some nice drones and she don't pick up any of those Africanized traits where they start getting mean when I come out to the hive to inspect. Yeah, mean bees are no fun. They make you don't want to do beekeeping. Because they harass you so much. Soon as you lift the cover off, they're all around your head. They buzzing in your ear. They annoying you. They following you all around the yard, buzzing, trying to sting you. All right, let me get some smoke here. I just hate the pinch bees. I don't really need the smoke. So I'm going to put this one here in the middle, let them draw it out, make some room for the queen so she can have some more laying space. And then we'll put her on the top and let her back down in. Soon as I get everything back in the middle, get the frame holder put up. All right, here's the queen. She's in there. She's marked. Look at her with that white dot on her back. You couldn't hardly see her though. The camera, man, I gotta get that camera focused when it's close up. It messes up all of my shots. So Mama's gone back in and they're still hanging around. I guess all of her pheromones is still on the cage. So they're still on this. So that's it for that. We got the new queen mark. She'll reign supreme. Her mom retired and I put her in the newt box and we'll keep her genetics. And we will get this put back together. I think I might add another honey super on here because they had the first one filled up with nectar from end to end. even though it wasn't all cap. So the new stuff they're bringing in, they're going to need somewhere to put it. So I'm going to put another super on here. Let's get these girls smoked. Get them out the way. I don't like the pinch bees. Seem like my smoker running out of fuel too. Probably have to get some more fuel. Yep, she's going low. Well, we'll have to make the fumes work. All right, let's get this back up here. She is heavy. Yeah, I had to invest in a back brace too from lifting up honey supers. Those things can really, really get your back hurt. I remember the hive down in the corner, they surprised me. I had a honey super on there and I thought it was empty. And I went and just grabbed it and snatched it. And when I pulled, just pulled my back because that thing was full. I was like, oh, wow, they filled this up in no time. I was just surprised that they had that filled. All right, so I'm spacing this back out. I guess when I put the honey super down, I put it on the side and the frame shifted around. So I want to get these spaced back out because I only have 9 frames in here instead of 10. So let me see if I can get them spaced out. We'll get this put back together so the girls can go back to work. So that's it for that experiment. Unfortunately, it was good and it was bad. It was a failure because there was 2 queens in there. And I didn't know they had a supersedure queen in there. If not, I wouldn't even attempted it. But I'm glad I took Mama out and put her in the nuke box. So after we finish here, we'll go over to the nuke box and check on Mama, see what she's doing over there. Hopefully she's having a good time. I took a couple of frames of food, a couple frames of bees, and a couple frames of cat brood, and I put them in that nuke box with her so she'll have some company. And I think I put 1 empty frame for them to draw out for her so she can lay on. And then she'll have more space when the cat brood is hatched out. So I am going to put another honey super on here. Let's get these girls off the side here, back in. What happened is when you pinch the bees, it's like, oh, they go crazy. They just smell that pheromone from dead bees and then they just get angry like, oh, they're killing our comrades. Get him. All right, so they have an extra super here to store more nectar. The flow is still going. So let's see if they can fill 2 boxes up. If I get 2 boxes off of each hive, I'm happy. That'll be about 60 to 65 pounds of honey off of each hive. And I have 3 in the yard. Make that 2 because I sold 1 to my friend Maria. So Maria should be getting some honey from that hive because I had honey super on it. And they were actually storing nectar, and I sold it to her. Just had too many hives. All right, well, we're going to wrap up this. Thanks for watching. Keep on watching. So we're going to give them a little smoke at the entrance. A little smoke in the top. Let's see what they doing over here. Uh-oh. Not looking good. Not sure what happened over here. Oh, I got here on time though. Oh no, there's my little queen right there. There's my good genetic queen right there. She's a fighter, man. But we don't have any bees in here to take care of the brood. Okay. We ran out of food. Bad, Rich. All right, well, that's good. The queen is still alive. So we'll have to get her. Not sure what happened. There was a whole bunch of bees over here. Looked like the hive beetles got in here. And looked like we ran out of food. That's why it's good to do an inspection. Man, this queen is a fighter. Look at that. The whole hive is gone. And look at that. One lone queen on there. Still fighting. All right, I'm going to have to get her some bees in here. Not sure what happened, but there was a lot of bees in here. Now, I'm not sure what happened. I see the hive beetles in here. Gonna have to get rid of them. You know what? I should have put an oil trap in here because it was only a little. It was a 3-framer, and they probably got in here and took over all of those resources. So it seemed like I got here right on time. So I'm gonna have to remove the queen. Put her in a cage. All right, I'm gonna put her in here and see if we can't save her. I already got the candy cork in it. Now, if you never operated one of these, you gotta open this little hole right here. You open that and then it just flips open to the side. We can get the queen in there. All right, let's see if we can get a couple of attendants. All right, we got her in there. Got the queen in there. So what I'm gonna do is get her some attendants. All right, so what I've decided to do is to take the queen and put her in my other mating nuke box. And this is just so she can run around and have somewhere to go. So here's a little mating nuke. Just gotta add some sugar syrup in here. We got some little frames that they can build out, and she can run around in there till I get a home for her. I'm trying to keep her genetics. As you saw, she's the only bee left in the hive. All the other bees are pretty much, I don't know what happened, but I got there right before the hive beetles ruined the hive. And the queen is the only survivor, along with a couple of attendants, her entourage. All the other bees either absconded and left the queen, which is rare. As long as the queen is healthy, they stay. So I'm not sure. That thing was full of bees. Not sure what happened to them. But anyway, this is what we decided to do. Put her in here and let her run around. That way I can save her genetics, because she's a nice, quiet, gentle queen. All right, let's do that and get that up and running. So as you can see, I got some bees in there. They're attending to the queen. I got her little queen cage on top, and they're taking care of her. They're accepting her. That's the thing, if you get nurse bees, they're loyal to the queen. So I got the queen in a queen cage, and since they're letting her out, I'll probably just let her in there. So they ain't trying to sting her, they're feeding her, and actually I saw them sticking out their proboscis, feeding her and taking care of her. So I'm gonna put some sugar syrup in the back there, and then I'm gonna close them in there for a couple of days and open them back up. And we'll check on her in about 2 days, just make sure she's in there doing her thing. All right. So as you can see, they let her out the cage already, and they're tending to her. There she is coming out with the green dot on her back. The bees actually just let her out and accepted her. They're grooming her. And she'll go down inside of the hive, and this will be her new home. So looks like I get to save her genetics. So this will be her new home. Thank God I got there on time to save her. So I can say we had an adventurous day today. I'm glad you could come along with me here in the bee yard, and so we went through some inspections, and I was doing some experiments. I got a surprise there because I had a supersedure cell earlier, and I guess it hatched, and there was a virgin queen in there along with the mother. And I didn't know, took the mother out to try to save the genetics. And to my surprise, when I went back in the hive, I saw larvae in there and eggs. And I'm like, I know I took the queen out. I know she's over there in that box. So there you go, another surprise by the bees. And I'm glad I got to come over here and check on Mom, the original queen, because it seemed like, I don't know if the bees absconded, but that's kind of weird to just leave the queen in there by herself. But anyway, I noticed a few hive beetle larvae in there on the frame, so we're gonna have to drop those in the freezer, kill them, and then we can use those for resources for another hive. So thank you for joining me on this Sunday. You know, stick around. There's always things, you never learn it all in the years that you be doing beekeeping. You're always learning something new about the bees and their habits. And just when you think they're going right, they go left. When you think they're going up, they go down. So this is the thing about beekeeping. Not everything that works in my bee yard will work for you. You know, you have to get out there and experiment with your bees and find out what they like, what they don't like, and what they want, what they need. And when they need more room, you give them more room. And when they don't need it, you take it away. And so that's it for today. We'll catch you on the next video. There's no more inspections. I already inspected the Delray Bee Yard. Hopefully I can get you some video down there. They're making lots of honey and doing well. So I'm happy with what's going on down there, and call me up. I got 2 nukes that I'm trying to sell. There were actually rescues. I rescued one trying to move into my soffit in the office, and then I had a friend, they moved into his tool shed in a box. He had an empty box in there and they moved in. So I was able to rescue those and put them in a 5-frame nuke box. Well, you know I'm only allowed so many on my property, so I'm trying to get rid of 2 of them. So if you're interested, give me a call. If not, thank you for watching the video, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace, love, joy, and happiness.